On the show, in Wheel Spin, we ride the latest addition to the Indian Chief range of motorcycles, the Dark Horse. In Wheel Spin, we have a look at some of the biggest, meanest motorcycles in the Indian market. In Face to Face, we meet Gavin Hartley, the manager of Bespoke Design at Rolls-Royce. Quicker presents the Quicker Car Guide. And in Going in Style, we visit the Mercedes Museum in Stuttgart. What I have with me today is an addition to the Indian Chief range of motorcycles in India. And who else is it coming from but Indian motorcycles? So far you could have bought the Indian Chief in three trims: the Chieftain, the Classic and the Vintage. And this one here is the new edition, as I said, and it's called the Dark Horse. So what do you get different? It's obvious, isn't it? Number one, the color job here. This is in matte black, unlike other motorcycles which are more colorful, comes in red, white, silver, but no. This has got a dull matte finish, and that is the biggest distinguishing thing. Secondly, the styling change. Now this has got a long handle which is pulled back, and this is styled more like a cruiser to give you ease of riding for hours. Overall, the motorcycle looks pretty much the same as the other Indian Chief motorcycles. What you still get is very much an Indian motorcycle, big and beautiful. If big is what you like, then the Indian motorcycle is exactly what should be prescribed. And this new variant of the Indian is just that. In fact, in terms of dimensions, it's identical to its siblings, the Chieftain, the Vintage and the Classic. And so is the motor that's strapped to the chassis. But like the rest of the family, this one too has a huge street presence. In terms of the powertrain and the mechanicals, there is no difference between this one and the rest of the Indian Chief motorcycles. She is powered by the same 1811cc engine. But having said that, let me reiterate that like most other Indian Chief motorcycles, this one too is very refined, and she belts out plenty of torque and power. In fact, the power delivery is linear, and she comes across as a very refined machine. So once you start riding on the highway, you really enjoy the ride, and the gearbox slots in quite well. The major difference it has with other Indian Chief motorcycles is the fact that she is much lighter than the rest of the range. In fact, she is 23 kilos lighter than the Classic and about 30 kilos lighter than the Chieftain. And that adds to the nice power to weight ratio. In fact, the handles also help make the ride more enjoyable because they're easy to grab, they're a little pulled back, and it gives you a very nice, easy riding posture. In spite of her size, I have to say that this one is a very easy machine to ride, even if you're caught in city traffic. The single-port instrumentation fitted on top of the gas tank in true cruiser style might look simple, but it contains all the info that comes in handy, like gear indicators, digital tacho, fuel gauge, efficiency and the fuel range. The rear seats that you see here on this bike is actually an extra that you will be required to pay for, and so might be the saddlebags in case you need one. The Dark Horse variant here essentially remains another Indian motorcycle under the skin. No changes there. However, she differs in terms of the styling and of course the positioning, and whether you like it or not, I leave that to you. But what may add to your liking this is the fact that she is the cheapest in the Indian Chief range. She costs about 2.5 lakhs less than the next one, the Classic, and about 10 lakhs cheaper than the Chieftain. Indian Chief Dark Horse is priced at rupees 21.99 lakhs ex-showroom Delhi, making it the cheapest in the Indian Chief range, while the top of the line, the Chieftain, is priced at over rupees 32 lakhs. If you thought Indian roads were only clogged with smaller capacity commuter bikes, then it's time to think again. Because now the Indian motorcycle market in the last few years has really changed. And here we have a look at some of the biggest, meanest and of course the most expensive motorcycles on sale in India today. First on the list is the biggest production motorcycle on planet Earth, and this comes from the iconic British motorcycle manufacturer Triumph, and this one is aptly called the Rocket. Powered by a 2.3-litre inline 3-cylinder engine, this is something which many motorcycle buffs dream of. Big, mean and extremely powerful, this is sold in India with a price tag of around rupees 22 lakhs ex-showroom New Delhi, which is relatively modest as compared to the rest of the gang it mixes with. But make no mistake, the Rocket is fast and drips with oodles of road presence. And if you think the Rocket is really big, then have a look at this one. The Indian Chieftain from legendary American motorcycle manufacturer Indian. The Chieftain is powered by an 1811cc motor and garnished with plenty of chrome and leather saddlebags to give it a formidable road presence. And the Indian Chieftain rides well too. Indian Motorcycles sells here 4 variants of the Indian Chief: the Chieftain, the Vintage, the Classic and the Dark Horse. While in terms of engine, the chassis and basic measurements, they are all identical, but where they vary is in terms of styling and of course the price as well. The Chieftain, which is the top of the range, comes with added features like a slide down front windscreen, and it is priced at around rupees 32 lakh. If we talk big motorcycles, then how can we forget the most popular brand of them all, the Harley-Davidson? Forget about the Fat Boy and the Road King. Harley now offers in India the big daddy of them all, the CVO Limited, priced at a hopping rupees 50 lakhs. And she does look mean and big. The CVO 2 is a typical Harley with plenty of chrome and looks that defines the brand. But at this price, she is definitely the most expensive of them all. And just in case you don't like the big fat cruiser style motorcycles and yet you want to ride something very exclusive, then we have this for you, the Almost Range Topper. And we say almost because Kawasaki is still not selling the H2R here, but they did manage to bring the next best thing, which is the H2 Ninja, a bike which is sure to put a big smile on your face the moment you twist the throttle. The H2 Ninja is fast, agile and of course the second fastest Ninja, and it looks beautiful too. And at a price tag of rupees 29 lakhs, the H2 is certainly on top of the superbike pyramid in terms of the pricing too. And now that we have given you a list of the most drool-inducing two-wheel machines, it's time for you maybe to reach for your checkbook and visit the nearest showroom. But before you do that, make sure you have enough balance in your account, because these are also the most expensive motorcycles.